All right, part 6. So I've been waiting for the steering rack bushings and it's been like a week. I'm tired of waiting, so I'm just gonna put the motor in and then deal with it when I deal with it. So let's get on putting the motor in. All right, about to put the motor into the car. It's gonna be a big pain in the butt. And there it is. Ta-da! So this was a big pain in the ass to get in all by myself. I kind of maxed the throttle body on the thing right here and bent that. So I gotta bend that back, but the throttle body still opens. You can't see in there because it's dark, but it opens freely still. It still has plenty of room to actuate. So that's pretty neat. But yeah, motor's in the car, transit's bolted in. I'm gonna put the shifter in right now. Shifted. So yeah, bang that back straight, got that on there, and it's all nice and ready to go. So yeah, the motor's in there. I just connected the clutch cable. I gotta work on the wiring and see if I can figure out what's going on up over here. Like I said prior, I gotta extend a bunch of these to get them to go up to the motor. It's all alternator, starter, miscellaneous stuff like that. Then I gotta get some sort of battery cable connection to this, which powers all of that. And then it should fire up and run. I do a bunch of little ins and odds and we gotta see. So I got all of them extended, the correct lengths. I am out of female spade connectors, so I can't put the one on the starter that goes down there, and you can't see it. I'm using this nice multi-strand power wire that I got from a sub kit that's nice and shielded, thick shielding on it, and it's nice copper wire to run to the alternator, so it'll probably do better than the stock stuff. This is what the stock harness looks like on the alternator. This one's to the starter, and if you look up over here, this one goes to the alternator. Got it all nice and taped, but I'm gonna put shielding around it. It's gonna run down there and go to the alternator, which is right there. So here's the final product of the starter signal wire, power to the alternator, and the plug for the alternator. From that plug with this wire back through the firewall where this runs, through the firewall down in there, to one of those remote mount plugs, and use the battery to mount it here. Use this wire to mount it here. So this will be from the battery, and then I'll mount that to it, and then from there it'll go to the starter, and then that's how everything will get power. For reference of what I'm talking about, it's right here. So that's what I'm talking about. One of those little remote rubber things that isolates it from the body, but can still give power to multiple things. So here's the motor all in. I went ahead and strung all the engine harness all through in here. And there's even more wiring here now, but the dash harness is plugged in. I gotta get the ECU in here. Then I can get the ECU plugged in. I got basically everything to kind of fire it up, kind of plugged in here except the ECU. Then I gotta do fuel lines and a few other things. I gotta run these vacuum lines to the ECU and the boost gauge. And yeah, so getting pretty close to hearing this thing run in the new chassis. What you think? All right, here we are for the night. All the wiring harnesses in. Still need to put the ECU in, get the battery stuff going on, but yeah, a lot of progress done. Glad the motor's in. Still don't have the freaking brackets for the steering rack, so it's just sitting there, but we will get that done soon. So I finally got the GK Tech steering rack solid mounts. Gonna put those in, and then tie rods in, and then I'm gonna be able to steer the car. This is where we're at. I got all the bushings in, but for some reason I can't get these stupid spacers to sit right. And also, now that steering rack is hooked up, it hits the exhaust manifold. Go ahead and spin it for me to the right. Keep going. So I just spent the last 3 hours shimming the motor mounts, trying to get the throttle body not to hit one of the tubs and the steering shaft not to hit the exhaust manifold. Yeah, it was a freaking nightmare, but it's fixed now and it's all good. As you can see, the steering shaft no longer hits the exhaust manifold, but that's pretty sick. And if we come over here, you can see that the throttle body is like tiny bit away. So hopefully the engine torques to the driver's side I'm not sure. I think it does. And that won't smash, so we'll see. All right, brand new day. Time to make this thing steer right, since I got the steering rack and motor and all that put in there properly. I'll hook up the inner and outer tie rods, make it steer, and then we'll see what we pick up after that. After that, I'm probably gonna finish up on the fuel system, transferring over the fuel pressure regulator, my fuel filter situation, and all the lines, and then once I get that in there, then the motor will get fuel. Well, in the process of putting the steering rack in, I bent one of the hard lines on the steering rack, so now I'm gonna go down to the store and get a new line and replace it. Went down to the store, got some 1/4-inch brake line. Not gonna use these fittings, or use the OEM ones, but I'm gonna get this all bent up, then I'm gonna cut the fittings off and then put those on. So here's the line I made. Got to screw it in, and I don't know if it's gonna work, but the flares look pretty good. And the fittings fit good, so it should work. But we'll see. So I got all the power steering stuff in now, the hard lines, it's all plumbed. Tire rods are on. The line I made is on. Nothing leaks, so that's good. Now, we'll really tell if it can leak when it runs, but I can turn the wheel back and forth now and it doesn't squirt out like it did. There's the fuel system, filter, pressure regulator, the lines all hooked up, all tight. So I'm gonna work on the electrical system now. Kind of got the battery cable just kind of rigged right there for now. I'm gonna get one of those remote ports that I showed. And I'm gonna go steal the SAD cable from the other car and then slap a battery in this. Start testing for power to hook up all the gauges like the AFR, ECU, all that stuff, so I can crank it over, see if it runs. All right, about to hook up the battery. Just make sure it doesn't set itself on fire. Okay, it sparked a little bit, but nothing crazy. I guess just kind of turn the key real quick. Make sure nothing crazy happens. Oh. Something immediately. Oh, the windshield wipers are on. Okay, cool. No fire sounds or nothing crazy. At least I know the windshield wipers work. Just got all the gauges hooked up temporarily so I can fire it up. I gotta run to the gas station, get some gas first. So I got everything hooked up, all the gauges. I got the starter hooked up to this little thing I kind of get rigged. ECU's on. Fuel pump is priming, so watch, I can turn this on. Oh, the battery's not on. All right, take 2. Fuel pump, you can hear it. No, it didn't prime. Let's do that a couple more times. Well, it was building fuel pressure, so I think my gauge just stopped working, so that's pretty cool. Before I go to start it up, I'm just gonna put the mid pipe on because I don't want it to be open header or be stupid loud in the garage. All right, moment of truth. Let's see what we got. Oh, the starter was angry. Whoa, it backfired loud as fuck. That scared the shit out of me. Sounds good. Hell yeah. It's alive. So there you have it. L40's motor lives. Yay. In the coupe. Ta-da. Well, that's all for this video. I appreciate you guys checking in. Next time, we're gonna be doing radiator, charge pipes, putting the coilovers on, and then, I don't know, bleed the brakes. I gotta do a booster and master, and then it might drive. Who knows? We'll see. Thanks for watching.